as we look forward to a very successful day. And of course, my name is GBOLABO, Famous School. We'll be looking at some of the headlines this morning from some of the national dailies. We have the Punch newspaper, Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and a host of other papers up for review this wonderful Saturday morning. And of course, we have the cable NG and a host of other papers. We also have Austin Udume, who will be joining us for the analysis proper as we look at the headlines this morning. All right, to start off with the Punch newspaper this morning, and of course on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have a couple of headlines. Ministers Fate known as Tinubu tinkers with cabinet list and can direct lords chosen to vet testimony before presentation. We retain the rates due to hardship, Lagos sex workers. More here says Olympic hero Dosu cheats death again in ghastly accident. Bandits prevent farmers from going to farm, disrupt Jumat prayer in Castina. And a big story here on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Rivers local government poll tension and uncertainty as Wike's allies for Barra's camp set to clash. Another top news here on the front page of the Punch newspaper. What I tell Wizkid when Davido's supporters attack him. That's according to his father. Russia-Ukraine trade wars over Nigeria protests. Pastor Adeboye apology reignites tightened debate. What I would tell my younger self about beauty, 𝐂𝐿𝐒𝐿𝐒, a little bit of entertainment and lifestyle there. How young girls get pregnant on purpose, abort to look sexy. Right, that's another report there. Still here on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Policemen's presence at the RESEC office, purely precautionary, says PPRO. Local government poll, come out and vote. Omahia Secondos orders urge Rivers residents. APC releases Rivers Congress's timetable, pegs chairmanship for at 3 million naira. That's chairmanship form at 3 million naira. 𝐒𝐈𝐒 over warning against looting. PDP will reclaim Ekiti without Fayoshe's support ex-chair. And we also have this one as lawmakers marking this men eye vacant or your rep seat. All of that is some of the national headlines out of the Punch newspaper. We'll take a look at the Daily Post. Also, we have a number of headlines. Tinubu confers GCON on House of Rep Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. PDP suspends Southeast National Vice Chairman Ali Odefa. A more headline here says Obaseki Shuaibu in war of words over alleged looting of Edo government properties. More stories here on the Daily Post. We have this one. Bandits attack mosque during Juma prayers. Niger boat mishap. Death toll rises to 42. Rivers obey court order restricting conduct of local government poll. PDP tells Fubara. And let's take more headlines here out of Daily Post. Troops deny oil thieves of 793 million naira in 1 week. Jonathan, only Southerner who can successfully run against Tinubu in 2027. Atiku's aide is speaking there. Fish out those who beheaded Abia couple. Governor Oti orders security agencies. Alaki of Egbaland to establish a Dire village. Agatu enough is enough. Time to act as now. Idomas in USA. At least this is policy changes. Tinubu not true to ideals he stood for. That's according to former envoy. And before we leave the Daily Post, Rivers local government poll, Atiku throws his weight behind Fubara and Jigawa local government election, police enforce restriction of movement. All right, before we leave here, we have one more. His man of his words, Edo lawmakers celebrate APC governor elect. All of that are stories out of the Daily Post this morning. Quickly looking at the Nigerian Tribune, Tinubu bows to pressure of great speaker Abbas national honor to GCON. How prices of beans rise, yam orders increased in August. That's according to Nigerian. That's the National Bureau of Statistics giving the update. APC releases Rivers Congress's timetable. Shetima orders overhaul of road safety measures. Federal government approves concurrent running of degree NTE for colleges of education. Still here on the Nigerian TV newspaper, Edo-Guba PDP prepares documents to challenge result in court. Edo-Guba INEC result portal stock at 98%, only 5 LGS completed days after declaration. Appears to be out of time there. We had earlier and the headlines much earlier. All right, looking at the nation, other headlines there out of the Nation newspaper this morning. The big story says how soldiers killed my husband, donated his body to varsity's lab for experiment. 20-year-old widow recounts. All right, more headlines here. Insecurity. Sokoto government constructs military base in Ilela. And more headlines. Yes, as federal government is set to evacuate Nigerians in Lebanon. Shatima orders overhaul of road safety measures to curb accident. Tinubu facilitates Ajamale Mimiko on 80th, 70th birthdays. And more headlines out of the Nation this morning. SAN tackles reps over agitation for GCON Anna on Speaker Abbas. Under federal lawmaker Makinde. All right, we heard that earlier. Limosho, Labour Party unites ahead of future polls. A turbulent journey to nationhood survival. That appears to be one of the pictures here out of the paper. That's the much we can take for the Nation newspaper this morning. A quick look at the Vanguard. Right, other headlines. Where are millions of seized arms illegally imported into the country? And that is a question mark there. Local government polls BK Fubara in fight to finish in Rivers. Nigeria's missing links at 64. A silent crisis in modern parenting. Are we failing our children? And that's a question mark. Local government polls BK Fubara. All right, in a fight to finish. Where are millions of seized arms? All right, that question has been asked earlier. We'll take two more before delving into the analysis proper this morning. Nigerians to process obtain passport from home. Tunji Ojo, Ondo, Amotekun voice 5 kidnap attempts, rescue 9 victims. All right, we'll take a look quickly. We have Austin Edumi already standing by, but we'll take a look at the cable. The cable here has this headline. CBN sells $543 million to authorized dealers in September. That's $543 million to authorized dealers in September. CDS, Bello Toji now in panic mode. He's no longer in charge. PDP to IGP, you are duty bound to provide security for Rivers local government poll. 15 ACGs, 95 CIS. NIS promotes 13,977 immigration officer. Praise me for whistleblowing. Ex-Rivers COS Tony Okocha confesses to election rigging. Okay. And we also have this one, gas generators, CNG, LPG, dual fuel vehicles, 63 items exempted from VAT. All right, we do have Austin Eduma standing by to do this analysis proper with us this morning. All right, Austin, good morning.
Good morning, GBOLABO.
Yes, good morning, Austin. It's great to have you back.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, happy independence to you, because I don't think we've spoken since Nigeria clocked 64.
Yes, wish you the very best too, and wish our country the best.
All right. I think we have to start on that note. There's one of the headlines that says Nigeria 64. What is the missing links? Do we have any missing links, Austin, looking at that particular headlines?
Well, there is really nothing to celebrate as far as we are concerned. Of course, at this point, we need to be reminded that we are already 64. I agree that all hope is not lost, but for the period under review, I don't think we have done well in the journey to our nationhood. There's a lot more to be done. It's just like an average man of 64 years who cannot fend for himself. Unfortunately so. But we believe that if we take the right step through purposeful leadership, we'll be able to get it right. We only need will on the part of our political elite to be able to fix the country. Well, you can say that America is over 200 years of democracy, 200 years of independence, and all of that. We know that Rome is not built in a day. But there is also a proverb that said that Saturday that want to be good, you will be having the feelings right from the evening of Fridays. So our leaders really need to do more in terms of patriotism. Most of the time they jet out of the country, go and enjoy the good life provided by the government of other people for their citizens. Meanwhile, as of today, we cannot boast of quality healthcare delivery. We cannot boast of motorable road. We cannot even boast of pipe-borne water. We cannot boast of good school. So if you look at it, after 64 years of nationhood, what is the benefit of a common man in Nigeria? Of course, somebody once said that Nigeria is not even a country. It's not even a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. So I hope, I'm very optimistic. I'm an incurable optimist in the Nigerian projects. I believe that somehow, someday, we will get there. But like the saying also goes, we do not know whether if we change, things will improve. But for things to improve, we really have to change. So I believe in Nigeria, we want our leaders to do more. We must get out of this wood. The truth is that we cannot continue like this.
Well, Austin, let's look at this one. Rivers local government poll. It appears that we have Fubara and BK fighting to finish. The both camps saying that it's a do or die. They are fighting, and of course, it is the toughest that will stand the test of time. From what we're saying, Fubara is blowing hot, saying, we can't have security operatives take over my state. Election must hold. And on the other side, we also have another faction which are loyal to Wike, supposedly, saying that this election should be shelved. And now Fubara is saying there is a subsistent court judgment that allowed this election, this local government election, to go on. Austin, what do we say about Wike Fubara clash? It's getting unending here.
The problem in River is a contestation for power. And it is gradually getting to a level where if urgent step is not taken, the situation or the crisis can snowball into what we may not be able to contain at the end of the day. Why Rivers? We have always known that there have always been political crisis in Rivers State. This is not the first time. But in terms of local government election, why is Rivers at the spotlights? Is Rivers State the first state that will conduct a local government election? We know the way local government elections have always been conducted in Nigeria. However, not right. But there is a way. I think like 2 weeks ago, local government election is being conducted. As I speak to you now, local government election is taking place in 3 states in Nigeria. Why is Lagos the flashlight? Of course, because of the political gladiator in that state. And it's also a red flag for the Nigerian judiciary, because most often time the judiciary is always being drawn by politicians into political matters to destabilize the situation. How do I mean? Sometimes early September, a high court in Rivers State delivered judgments giving a go-ahead for the conduct of the local government election. That order was an interlocutory order. Interlocutory order is just like an interim order compelling a party or an agency to proceed or restraining such an agency to take a certain action pending the determination of the original suit, which means that an interlocutory injunction as a result of court order is not the finality of any case. Having said that, this Monday, the Federal High Court in Abuja, because if you look at the status of the Federal High Court and the State High Court, they are court of coordinate jurisdiction. That court in Abuja says that the INEC should not release the voters register, that the police should not participate in that election. DSS should not participate in that election. GBOLABO, between you and I, how can election take place without the involvement of the police? At least to provide security. So some people are interpreting that judgment to technically mean that the election should not go ahead. Meanwhile, the camp of the governor, they are claiming that in the whole of the judgments, people are only insinuating and importing implied meaning into the court pronunciation. There was nowhere in that entire judgment that the judge said election should not hold. The court only restrained certain agencies of government. So as far as I'm concerned, all of these shenanigans should come to an end. I was also part of the people that criticized Governor Fubara for not being able to conduct local government election. Now the man has seen through the local government autonomy, the Supreme Court has said that, oh, any state that there is caretaker committee, funds should not be released to that local government. So you have seen states, even those that have not conducted local government election in the last 20 years, are trying to hurry up to do so now. Because they believe, like the Rivers case, the governor believed that conducting local government election, having his own people at the local government, that will give him a firm grip of the state in terms of party structure. So that is the problem that we have found ourselves in Rivers State. Now the police are withdrawing. Now the governor is threatening that they will go ahead with the election. Political parties are speaking with from both sides of their mouth. It is even laughable in my view when the governors had to call on the civil defense that they were not involved in the judgment, that the civil defense should come. I now begin to laugh. I say, is the governor in charge of civil defense? I don't know whether you are seeing the handwriting on the wall. So that is why I said.
But he's the chief security officer of the state. If you look at it, Austin.
GBOLABO, you understand what I'm talking about now.
Right.
In that same river, we saw a situation where a commissioner of police had to stop a governor. A commissioner of police in Rivers State, former commissioner of police, stop a governor. I know whatever that happened in Rivers State, now some people sentimentally and emotionally will come on this your platform and say, oh, it has never happened before, let's cut off the head of some people. A commissioner of police had to stop a governor, a sitting governor. The governor came down from his car. The commissioner of police said, you cannot pass here, order from above. The same commissioner of police superintend the hosting of a former governor in Oyo State. That Tug had to preside over the state assembly in Oyo State. Let us not go into that. So this issue, we must look for a way to resolve it, because if care is not taken, the situation can snowball into a full-blown anarchy. And we don't want a situation where there will be bloodbath in Rivers State. And the governor must also be mindful. The ground, in my view, is slippery from the governor, because some people are also setting booby trap for the governor. Because some people want to foment trouble, create more tension and crisis in that state. Before you know it, there will be a high level of insecurity and people will be calling for a state of emergency. GBOLABO, you understand what I mean? So the governor just had to also be very smart and play safe. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think this issue is the way politicians are taking it. If you conduct local government election, you can at the end of the day go to court. Let's hear what the court will say at the end of the day. But making it look as if the governor has no power to conduct local government election, where other of his colleagues are conducting local government election, declaring one party as the winner, and they are getting away with it. So why is Fubara own different, for crying out loud? So that's the issue. We must allow peace to reign in Rivers State.
All right, Austin, let's go to Edo State. It appears that Obaseki and Shuaibu are not sheathing their sword here. It's been, the elections have held, and the return certificate appears to have been given to the winner. But here we have Obaseki Shuaibu in war of words over alleged looting of Edo government properties. This has been like a norm among, even it happened here in Oyo State at a point in time, all over the country, when you have instances of an incumbent leaving. There's also this news of looting and taking the last thing they could take from office. Now, what do we say of this particular warning that Shuaibu is bringing up to say political appointees under Obaseki should not leave, and he's issuing a circular to department, agencies, and secretariats to monitor the process. And that didn't go down well with his superior, Godwin Obaseki.
Yes, it is because the center can no longer hold. Shuaibu is almost like stating the obvious. But if you look at it from the flip side, it's just like Ketu also calling pot black. Because most politicians, they do this. Once upon a time, a friend of mine was essay to the governor of Ondo State, the late governor, Olusegun Agagu. Mimiko was declared as the winner by the tribunal. That my friend has to park his car along Akure Owo Road. He abandoned the car to run away because a new government was going to take over the property. So those that were in possession of those properties should just bring them back whichever way. So the truth of the matter is that even we have government officials cutting away furnitures. You know, these are despicable. Cutting away furniture, you know, household item from government quarters. That is why we have a very reckless and wasteful age-long protocol that once a government comes, we have to almost buy everything over again. So when the government is going, we have to buy them over and over again. That is eating deep into our economy. Wherein in other climes, we have seen the old prime minister going from the government house, riding a bicycle out of a government house. They will go away with their car. The new governor will come and buy a new car and change all the fleet of cars. The governor will go away with his car. He says, you'll be not just one, though, maybe fleet of car, the wife of the governor, and all of this. They have a way of affecting our economy. I'm not talking, we're only using Shuaibu, Edo, Obaseki as a case study. This is what they do, and it must stop. And it can also be a false allegation on the part of Shuaibu just to mock Obaseki, because Shuaibu is also today on the winning side. But you know, anything can happen. Some days ago, before the election, when I say some days ago, I mean in recent past, Oshomole told Shuaibu that APC is not an IDP camp where Shuaibu will decamp to. Now something is binding them together. They are mocking Obaseki. Well, anything can still happen tomorrow. As far as I'm concerned, anything can also befall Shuaibu. So Shuaibu should tread softly. And for those who may actually want to loot government property, they must be very careful. And if we want to investigate all of this, I do not think there's any of these people, past leaders, that can come to equity on this matter.
All right, Austin, let's look at this national honor. Tinubu reverses self-confessed GCON on Speaker Tajuddin. This has been like an opera between the House of Representatives and the Senate. Not really that the Senate was involved in this, but they are more concerned about the status of the Speaker, saying that you can't give a Speaker CFR, give GCON to the Senate President and, of course, the Chief Justice, and exonerate the Speaker. That it's demeaning for that particular office, and not just about Tajuddin Abbas, but for precedents to take place. Now, are these necessary at this time? Are these the things we want our lawmakers to debate on?
Yes, they may not be very necessary at this time. But what is worth doing at all is worth doing well. You know the history of national honor in Nigeria. Once these people get into office, they must be conferred with national honor. You know, in this commentary this morning, I have spoken about age-long political protocol. You know, some of the things that we have always been doing, even when it is no longer convenient, even when our economy, when our resources can no longer take it, you know, we will still want to take it. That is why we still have lack of fiscal discipline, financial discipline, even in government today. Back to the subject matter, I salute the courage of the House of Representatives. It is not about the occupier of that office. It is about the office. we agree that the office of the Senate President and that of the Speaker, they are not the same per se, because the Senate President is the chairman of the National Assembly. However, the Speaker is the vice chairman of the National Assembly. Why conferring a lesser honor on the Speaker, or why attempting, because it has not been conferred yet, why attempting to confer a lesser honor on the Speaker? A total departure from what it used to be. So whoever that advised Mr. President to take that step or to release that particular list has not done well for Mr. President. And if anybody advises Mr. President for that, such a person should be sacked. I'm not a fan of the House of Representatives, but on this matter, I salute their doggedness. If we don't want to do it, let us not do it. If we must do it, we should do it well. That is my view as far as that is concerned. So it is a good one that the president has reversed that, the GCON honor will now be conferred on the Speaker of the House of Representatives, because he does not really make any sense. The former Speaker or the other Speaker, and you now get to this one, you exonerate him for that particular gift. You are even giving the CJN a more higher honor. By order of precedence, for example, the Speaker is the number 4 citizen of the country. The Vice President, the President, the Vice President, the Senate President, the Speaker. So the CJN is not even part of the political leader in terms of structure. So why diminishing the office of the Speaker, for example? So the House of Rep has fought for that and they have gotten that. I also want to employ the House of Rep before I leave, that they should also fight on issues that affect the masses, issues that affect the ordinary people on the street. Look at the way they fought for this, and in less than 2 weeks, when that news broke, they have gotten results. They should be able to stand their ground and ensure that policies and programs of government vis-a-vis legislative intervention have direct bearing, meaningful impact on the life of the people. GBOLABO, between you and I, we have now
but those things, because you said that not to really
that the House of Rep can always get whatever they want. So they should also dissipate this energy on making life meaningful for Nigerians.
But Austin, if you look at it, even the argument by the honorable member who raised this particular motion, he backed it up with the provisions of the law. And he looked at the standing order of the House of Representatives, and that is binding on both the National Assembly. He looked at some of these laws. Do we have explicit laws that talks about the right of Nigerians to life beyond just one sentence saying that we have life to association, we have right to association, we have right to basic amenities? Do we have this law stressing it, and of course saying that there are penalties if you do not do that? They are supposed to have these laws intact. If we don't have those laws, how can they fight for the ordinary masses?
That's the issue. We don't have the laws, but they know how to appropriate resources to themselves. They know how to buy cars for themselves. Look at the issue that we just talked about now. For example, if you look at our constitution, the first schedule, there are obligations of governments, what government must provide for the citizen. But the problem that we have is that in the case of defaults, there are no consequential pronouncements. For example, the government needs to provide quality and basic education. If a government comes into power and is unable to do that, there is no consequential provision as far as the Constitution is concerned. That is why a lot of us are of the opinion that the Constitution is faulty. Meanwhile, some people gather somewhere, they wrote that Constitution and they brought you and I in by using the word "we" in paragraph 1 of Article 1 of the 1999 Constitution. So these are what we are talking about. There are obligations of the government. There are duties of the government. In short, the Constitution in Section 14, subsection 1 says that the primary purpose of a government is, first of all, security and welfare. Security and welfare. And it goes on and on like that. So there are duties, responsibilities, and obligations of government. But the problem is, how do we enforce it? We must get to a level where we will give birth to a people's constitution that will help the people to hold government accountable for their specific obligation as far as the law is concerned. So that's the problem we're having. The law says that government must provide security, but in the case that government could not or refuses to provide security, what is the penalty? That is the area where the constitution is lacking. The law says that the government must provide welfare, quality life for the people. In the case that the government is unable to do that, what is the consequential pronouncement? That is the problem that we have. So that is also a pointer to the fact that we are long overdue for a people's-oriented constitution, an indigenous constitution, a constitution that is real-time, a constitution that fits into our current political and economic situation. That is the type of constitution that we need in Nigeria.
On another thing, State House spent 1.7 billion naira on rice diesel honorariums. That's according to a report here. And now 1.7 billion naira for rice diesel and presidential honorariums. That is some of the trips and some of the vacation. Even when we have all of these available in Nigeria, we still have our politicians jetting out to other countries to have the vacation. Now, 1.7 billion naira, isn't that humongous? We're saying that people are suffering. They're giving palliatives that are not getting to the people. I don't know. What do we say with this particular figure?
Yeah. Yes, it's a culture of impunity. It's a culture of waste. We have said this times without number. For those people who have opportunity to go to school, we were taught in basic economics. If you need money, the first thing you need to do, you don't have to be telling me that you need money when you still maintain your previous lifestyle. Something must give. That's the way it should be. One of the best way to even signify the intention that you need money is to first of all cut down your expenses. But the lifestyle of government is still the same year in, year out. When we were having economy boom, and even now that we have paucity of funds, the lifestyle is still the same. We spend on frivolity, we spend on consumption, no specific action geared into production in the key sector of the economy. That is what we are talking about. It is very convenient to talk about the federal government, state house, this, that. Let's also go to state houses, our various state houses. Some of the governors travel. Some of them travel out of the country. Some of them jet out. Some of them sleep more in Abuja than even their state. All of this, they are taxpayers' money. Some of them, they will have a liaison office in Abuja. They will have a governor's lodge in Abuja. What are they doing? Even if they have cost to go for a meeting, you can try to book a hotel. I've been in Abuja several times. I will book my hotel and I will pay for my hotel. As a private citizen, that is how it should be. But we have gotten to a level where people misses their personal lifestyle with government business. And at the end of the day, we'll say there's no money for critical infrastructure, there's no money for welfare, there's no money for development, and there's money for jamboree, there's money for frivolity. So it is really uncalled for. All of this does not suggest that we are managing. All of this does not suggest that we are trying to make some level of sacrifice. Because the truth of the matter is that, GBOLABO, if you go to a government house, you cannot go back empty-handed. I'm telling you what I know. If you go to a government house, you cannot go back empty-handed. There was a time somebody said he visited somebody and he was given 2 million naira for fuel. Can you still remember that story? We talked about it in the studio some times ago, but I don't want to mention the name. Somebody said he visited somebody and he was given 2 million to buy fuel. And you begin to wonder, that is the way they spend money, those that are in power or even prominent people. I know of a governor that when you go to them, they give you $1 as honorarium. I know of a governor. I don't want to mention them of few of my colleagues. They would listen to me this morning and say, Austin is saying the truth. You go to a governor, maybe for press, for press issue, maybe press matter, press release, interview, or what have you. The governor will give you dollars, USD, as honorarium. That is what they do. That is the way they spend our money, which is not supposed to be so. Why are you spending such humongous amount of money when people are hungry? when the level of poverty is increasing, people can barely feed. So this is what we are looking about. We are using the federal government as a case study today because the news is talking about the federal government. But I can tell you for free that this is what is happening in state houses, state government houses across the country. I don't think there's any government house that can be exempted. If you go to the government house and you see the way they cook there, you would think that they are lavishing party. That is the way they cook. This is what we have always done. Now that we claim we don't have money, we still continue in it. How do we now show cause? How do we now become purposeful in our leadership as political elite? That is what we are talking about. It is strong and there's no other name for it.
We'll soon go on this break. We have barely 2 minutes to do that. Being a female senator, tough. I lobby for Project Senator King and she mentioned quite a few things, some few things there. She's saying that everybody's hungry in Nigeria. Everybody's asking for money, and that's a real fact. Everybody wants money to buy what now, when they are not even production to a maximum level. And she also says she has to lobby for every of the projects to be included, like entrepreneurs for females and the rest. Now, Austin, it's tough time for Nigerians. It's also tough time for her, like a senator who is a lawmaker who wants to make life better for many women, for many children, and men alike. At the end of the day, what do we say to what King raised?
Yes, politics basically at that level is about lobbying. I think she's solely re-echoing the obvious. There are some things that you have to lobby. And when we talk about lobby, most people, what comes to our mind as Nigeria is that, oh, you have to pay bribe, you have to pay money. No. Lobby is an integral act of politics. It's part of politics. You can't separate it. For you to get whatever you want, you have to lobby. You have to go above and beyond to sometimes get whatever you want. Lobby could mean convincing people beyond reasonable doubt to see your own aspect of the story, your perspective, to be able to do things that you think they are right. So that could be it. As for hunger in the land, that is what is going on. A lot of people are hungry. Even for this lawmaker, people see them, they ask for money. All these politicians that all of us on the radio we are abusing, we are criticizing. When those of us that are calling see them, what we want to do first is how to benefit personally, we and our family from them.
Okay, Austin, we have to pay this bill. We'll be back shortly afterwards. Please do stay with us.
32 FM, 94.9.
Babies are God's gifts to parents, and breast milk is God's gift to babies. It contains all the important nutrients and minerals your baby needs, including water, for the first 6 months. Give your baby breast milk only. Remember, breast milk only for the first 6 months. This message is from the Anrin Project, Oyo State Ministry of Health.
lọ́kàn ẹni tó fẹ́ talé-talẹ̀ tàbí dúkìá míì tó ṣe pàtàkì sí oríṣiríṣi èrò ni ó gbọ́kàn rẹ̀ lójúnà àti rí dúkìá náà ta.
báwo ni màá ṣe oníbàárà báwo ni ó ṣe pé mi ǹjẹ́ mo lè fọkàntán abánitalẹ̀ yìí ṣé kí n tiẹ̀ polówó rẹ̀ lórí rédíò ni tàbí lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára níbo ni kí n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ta ló lè ràn mí lọ́wọ́ báwo ni wọn ò ṣe ní bọ́ sọ́wọ́ alágbèédá ṣó tiẹ̀ yẹ kí n gbé dúkìá ilé àtilẹ̀ yìí tà mo sì nílò owó láàrin ọjọ́ 7.
ṣe sùúrù ọ̀rẹ́ wa irú dúkìá wo ni wọ́n fẹ́ tà ilé ni àbílẹ̀ tó sì fẹ́ kó lọ ní kíá kó dòwó iléeṣẹ́ rédíò 32 FM pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Soft Sand Property ti gbé àǹfààní bàǹtàbàǹtà dé bí o bá ní ilé àbí ilẹ̀ tó fẹ́ tà lágbègbè tó dùn wò pẹ̀lú ìwé tó jiná máa bọ̀ wá sí 32 FM 94.9 Ìbàdàn ọ̀fẹ́ làbọ̀ polówó rẹ̀ tí yóò sì bàjẹ́ ní kíákíá ìfànlárè o tẹ àtẹ̀ránṣẹ́ tàbí pé
091-6461-5000 àti 091-1555-0055.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ló sì lè kàn sí www.softsandsproperty.com láti jẹ̀gbádùn àǹfààní yìí ìlànà àti àdéhùn wà o.
Soft Sand òrùlé fún tẹrú tọmọ.
When the big names talk, they talk to us. Join GBOLABO Famous School and her team of panelists on the podium
by 9 a.m. every Saturday for a deep dive into trending political and socio-economic issues. Hello, how are you today? Have you heard?
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck.
Have you been informed that there are new programs for you to enjoy on your laughter station 32 FM 94.9. You asked for it, and we did it. We have now extended our broadcast time by an additional 3 hours. So, from the 1st of October 2024, time 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., Mondays through Sundays, you will enjoy various contents tailored specifically to make your listening experience richer. Keep it in mind. Make it a date. Mark your calendars. Let's keep the fun rolling.
32 FM 94.9.
kò bá jẹ́ 24 29 tàbí 32 ṣáà ti fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kàn tẹ 32 FM 949 tẹ̀lé fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀.
Your baby is here! Congratulations! Do not waste time. Put your baby to breast within the first 1 hour of delivery to give that first yellowish milk colostrum. Colostrum has all the important nutrients your baby needs to start a healthy life. Colostrum also helps to protect your baby against diseases. Remember, put your baby to breast within the first 1 hour of delivery. This message is from the ANRIN Project or your state's Ministry of Health.
4.9.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Break It On here. Papers Review on 32 FM 94.9. And of course, I've been speaking with Austin Adumo to do the analysis, but also still very much here. Open the phone lines right about 9 to take your comments. And also, do you remember we are live on Facebook, 32 FM 949. All right. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, I will take another one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, GBOLABO.
Good morning. Morning, sir.
Good morning, GBOLABO. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Good morning.
Good morning, Austin. My name is Tanya Brown. Well done to both of you this morning. I want to ask Austin. Austin, please, who is to ensure that there is peace and security in Rivers State? Is it the governor or the security agencies? I ask this question on the backdrop of the fact that, you see, you quoted that it's a responsibility of the government to provide security and social welfare. So that's what the Constitution says. But how do you explain a situation where this, after the terms of the former local government chairman in Rivers State expired, and the government said your term has expired, you have to pack. We want to organize a local election, local government election. And these people call for local government election, the PDP members, that and they were shouting, PDP, local government, please, they are ready for election. And the governor here said, okay, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's start the process of, electing the local government chairman. And just midway, the PDP itself brought the former governor, Mike, to come and organize the World Congress and then, heading the structure without the governor involving. The governor was not involved. In Rivers State, the former governor, came to Rivers State, organized the election for ward members, and now the governor felt slighted, and they move out and said the guy should go to APP to contest election, and now there was a court order that said that election should hold. The same court order of Coordinate Judicial in Abuja also issued the same order that the election, cannot hold. Who now do you want to, that can ensure security in Rivers State? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Tanya Brown there. And of course, the numbers are 070-550-949 or 080-979-949. Do remember we also live on Facebook, 32 FM 949. All right, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, GBOLABO.
Good morning.
Good morning, Austin. In fact, I can't thank you enough for what you have been doing for us, trying to let us know what is going on in the country. God bless you, Austin. Now, I have this question for you, Austin. Whenever an honor is being conferred on a Nigerian, such as the one that was conferred on Senate President and Speaker, and I think there's a monetary backup that backs up and there's the money that backs up and that money that honor being given to them. Do you know the amount of the money for record purpose? That's number one. And secondly, when Shuaib was trying to allege that any outgoing official in Edo State should not go out with government property, recall that when Oshiomhole, when he became the senator, he was trying to tell the Senate president then that when he goes to his office, that some of the properties, even the rug, the chairs, everything was being started away. And they shut him down and told him that is the lifestyle of that particular chamber. Is that right? And because that has been part of our system. And I think something should be done on that. Do you think we should continue that with Mr. Austin? Or what do you think we Nigerians can do to stop that menace? Because that's part of our Nigerian money, it's a part of something. And lastly, recall that when you said a particular money was being spent on feeding when you go to the government house. Sometimes ago, I was in 𝐿𝑒𝐿 State. I don't want to mention the name of my governor, and I was in the house for a particular event. And if you see even the chef that was cooking, then if you see the kind of food that he cooked, that he prepared, even if you see his lifestyle, everything. So the thing is just a wastage of the item that we should be about cannot be continued. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent. I guess we can only take one more call before we get out of the studios this morning. All right. Hello. Good morning. You have barely 30 seconds to do this. All right. We're getting... Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's the name? You have 30 seconds.
My name is Joseph. I'm calling from Challenge.
All right.
I've been listening to you.
Okay.
The issue of rivers is the elders are supposed to solve those things.
All right.
Again, I'm coming to the House of Rep. This is the first time.
All right, that's the much we can take. I'm so sorry we can't take any further. I must say big thank you to Austin Idumo. I guess, Austin, you will keep those answers for next week for Benga Mario there because we have to go. My name is GBOLABO, Famous School, and thank you for taking time to listen to us this morning. Baba Fendo is up next. Bye for now.